Hey, what is up guys, I'm Xteria, and this is the simple, easy comp to learn. Before you click off this video, because we all know how to play Violet to reroll, ask yourself this: do you know when to roll for Violet? If the answer is, you're going to save 50 gold and just keep slow rolling with 50 gold continuously throughout the game, well, I have a better version of playing this comp, and that is to reroll aggressively. This version of reroll was kinda like more played from last set, where if you guys remember the Zoe Ari reroll comp, where you have Lilia and Poppy as a frontline, this version allows you to hit 3 stars easier and it allows you to spike even harder quicker. So at the beginning, all you want to do is save as much gold as possible by intervals of 10 gold, meaning like save 10, 20, 30, 40 gold throughout all stage 2. The reason why you want to do this is because you need the money to roll down once you hit after Krugs, which is around stage 3-1. And as you're saving up gold, pick up the core units, which is Violet, Darius, and Draven. You can pick up Powder and Vanders along the way, but the problem with doing this is you lose some econ, and they're not too important to 3-star. Vander is pretty important to 3-star, but I would say Powder really isn't. But if you want to sacrifice the econ, you can go for it and just pick them up if you want to. Personally, I don't really pick them up unless I hit stage 3 because I actually need units by then. For the most part, I would mostly pick up Violet, Darius, and Draven. A good trick to learn here is if it doesn't hit your econ, where it doesn't break your intervals of 10 gold, feel free to pick up other units on the side that are 1 or 2 costs as well because it shortens the pool so you have a higher chance to hit your units. Now this next part, we finally get to play the real game, which is at stage 3-1, we roll down for all of our units, which is Violet, Darius, Draven, Powder, and Vander. As you're picking them up, don't forget to stop at 32 gold. The reason why you want to stop here is because once you save the gold afterwards, in 2 turns, we will make back 50 gold. How this works is, if we do the math here, for every round, we always make at least 5 gold. And for every 10 gold, we gain 1 investment back. This means that because we have 30 gold, we gain plus 3 gold. So with the base income that we get, 5 plus 3, we get 8 gold. So this 32 gold becomes 40 gold. Unless we gain interest from streaking, then we can get 1 or 2 more extra gold. But I'm not going to count the streaks because by the time we hit the second round after that, this 40 gold will become 49 gold because of the interest that we make. And then you can sell a unit here, or maybe you might get gold back because of interest from streaking. And then once we make that 50 gold, at stage 3-5, we rinse and repeat what we did at stage 3-1. Just roll down for our units down to 32 gold again. And then we save up gold so we can hit stage 4-1 again for our last time. If we don't have a 3-star Violet yet, roll down all your gold no matter what. The reason why you have to hit 3-star Violet here is because for 1, she's your main carry, and 2, is because we need to save as much gold as we can for our Anomaly. Because once we hit stage 4-5, we have to roll for the Anomaly. 90% of the time is Ultimate Hero. This Anomaly will allow Violet to have a lot of stats and one-shot everything. And then afterwards, just get top 4 or to win the game. Pretty simple. For our items, most of us already know how to build this, but I'll just go over it briefly. For Violet's core item is to have a Bloodthirster. If you don't have this item on her, she'll probably die pretty quickly, so you need Bloodthirster on her no matter what. Second to that, it would be Titans. The reason why is because you get resistances and you get some damage. Third item could be anything, but preferably is QSS since there's a lot of CC in the current meta. This would allow her to keep casting without having any delays. And you can flex around any of these items like healing items such as Hodge, or instead of Titans you can do Edge and Knight, or instead of QSS you can do IE or Starak. The best artifact hands down is to have a Trench Cloak because this allows you to have multiple Violets and you can proc Bloodthirsters. When she splits into multiple 3 units, it'll proc all the Bloodthirsters on all of them. And then you got your damaged artifact items is fine. The secondary carry would be Draven, and his best in slot because he's secondary carry. Having a Last Whisper will allow to break armor, so Violet can do extra damage. And his other 2 best items is Ginsu's Rageblade and Deathblade, and you can flex around whatever items with here. And then our tank, you could do either Darius or Vander. Preferably, I prefer Vander. Even if Darius is level 3, I still would do Vander because most of the time I would put these clothes on Darius and just put whatever tank items I can on Vander. If you get a family spat, always make it if you can, which is just tear and spat. A technique here that most people probably don't know, or maybe they do know, is if you have a pan, you reforge it, it turns into a spat. And then if you want to play the pit fighter route, same thing, it's pan with cloak. So with spat, just reforge it to a pan and then get cloak to make pit fighter. For our opener, I would say the best one to be strong and powerful with would be Violet, Draven, and Darius. If you put out 3 family, the stats you get from family is kind of whatever. It's just defenses and a little bit of attack speed. But if you have Violet and Draven in, they get pit fighter, which allows you to one-shot like early units pretty easily. If you get them level 2, you probably win streak pretty hard in the early game. On top of that, if you're super strong with Draven and Darius, you can gain some econ because of Conquer. Once you hit 10 stacks, you get around like 2 gold, and then once you hit around like 35 stacks, you get a level 2 cost unit. So it's pretty good econ if you win streak really hard with level 2s on the board. And once you hit level 4, just throw out any watcher like Amumu or Vander, whichever one you can find. Level 5, then you just play all the family units with Powder and Vander. The 2 playstyles you can play is Pit Fighter style, which is all the Pit Fighter units. Like GP is the preferable unit to throw in at level 6 because you get scrap with Powder, so it's a pretty good synergy energy. And then the next one after that would be Violet. If you have a family crest, throw it on her. You probably win really hard with it. And then just the other two pit fighters, which is like Urgot and Savika. Or if you have a pit fighter emblem, you could throw it on either Vander or Darius. Either one is fine. The other version, which is not too popular, but it's okay. I've seen people do it, and I'm surprised they do it because it's not that strong, which is the Washer version, where you play just all Washers on the board. If you have a Washer emblem, I guess you can throw it on Draven or Violet. I don't know how that would work, but it's totally up to you. The best first item slams to do would be Bloodthirster because it's one of Violet's core items. If you cannot slam that, you can slam a Hodge, which is okay. This will prevent you from like losing a lot of HP early, so this would help. Unless you want to play Loose Streak, it's different. Then just don't slam any items at all. Sterax is okay. I would say to save that BF sword so you don't waste it for not getting BT. But if you already have a Hodge, then you can do Sterax, is fine. And the same with the Titans reason. If you don't have one of the healing items, don't slam at Titans because you're gonna need that Last Whisper. But sometimes I do slam Titans first because if I get a Violet too, and then I just slam Titans on her, I win streak pretty hard with it. And then Last Whisper for Draven, of course, for breaking armor. And then Last Resort, if you cannot build any items, but you have upgrades, like for example, you have Powder level 2 and maybe a Darius level 2, just put these gloves on Darius, or I guess you can put on Violet, remove it from Violet and give it to Darius later, so you can win streak early. But if you want to lose streak overall, just don't slam any items and just 5 streak, so you can make a lot of money. For our augments, the one you want to auto-collect right away is Welcome to the Playground. This augment allows you to get a lot of family units because you just keep pumping out like units over and over almost every round. Family crest is probably the way to go because you get a lot of good stats with it and you gain extra attack speed with damage reduction on the unit on it. Superstars is good for stats overall because you play a lot of 1-cost units, and if you 3-star him, you get a lot of stats with superstars. Since we're kind of have to roll a lot, Prismatic Ticket is the way to go. And then like I mentioned earlier with the item section, Dark Alley is really good because you get Trench Cloak, which is one of Violet's best artifact items. Speaking of items, you can also get Unleash the Beast, which is not too bad because you get a free Sterax. Since we're gonna need a lot of swords, Spear's Will is actually pretty good with that. Trade Sector is just a good budget version of Prismatic Ticket. And then Econ's always good because we need some money, so Raining Gold is not bad. Speaking of money, Health is Wealth is good for both stats on life stealing, and it gives you Econ back. So it's not too bad to have. And speaking of healing, Overheal is really good on Violet. She's gonna get a lot of healing from it, so she doesn't die as fast, so she lasts longer. If you want more stats on the board, because we have a lot of different items, Item Collector is not bad. And for this augment particular, you have to know how to use it. No scout, no pivot. You have to be very careful of this augment. If you don't know how to use it, don't click on it. Unless you want to win very hard into the late game. This augment allows you to get a lot of stats, but just be careful what units you throw out on the board. Be smart on how you use this augment. It is very strong for reroll, but just be careful with it. And then for the augment prior order, the direction you want to get is the emblem, which is family crest, like almost majority of the time. If not, get something like Econ, like for example, like earlier, like Raining Gold or Trade Sector. If not, you can get something like item, such as like the Dark Alleys, or a good combat augment like Health is Wealth or Overheal, or even No Scout, No Pivot is pretty good too. So if you don't know what is a good combat augment, just pick up item or econ, you're fine. The best person you want on Anomaly 100% of the time is always Violet, and the one you should always take like 90% of your games if you have enough money for it is Ultimate Hero. This Anomaly allows you to have a level 4-star Violet, so she can just one-shot everything. If you don't have enough money, there's also the other two ones that you can get if you can find them, which is Bully. I kind of showed it in the reroll section a little bit, but when I played it for that game, it was okay. I got like a 3rd place with it, which is not too bad. And what Bully does is if your unit is a 3-star and units are lower than that unit, they'll do extra damage towards the level 2 and 1-star units. Invisibility is always good for frontline units because they turn invisible every 4 seconds so they don't take damage. And that is it for this simple, easy comp to learn Violet reroll. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.